Hello, good morning, and welcome to Coffee Chat. I'm Stuart. Come by, have some coffee. I'm gonna make mine right now. I'm using a one of these. I still use the Keurig. I do have a Keurig, but I use it to do the hot water for this, which is actually really convenient. I'm all about convenience, which is why I own a Keurig. You don't own a Keurig if you're like really ambitious and want to change the world. You don't use a Keurig machine. You use a French press. That's what you use. Um, yeah, once again, coffee chat. So, I'll be here for about a half hour because I feel like a half hour is about the amount of time you can spend in a coffee shop without buying something else. Although what's the longest amount of time you spent uh, in a coffee shop without buying a second item? You usually buy the first one. It's usually a cup of coffee, maybe a scone. But if you're in there for like a number of hours, you have to like go back. Otherwise, it's in bad taste. Anyway, today I want to talk a little bit about what gets you out of bed in the what gets you out of bed in the morning. This is something that this is kind of why I do the show because I'm trying to find a reason. Because bed's comfy. I do have a nice bed, and I'd like to stay there for as much and as long as possible. But I got to get out of bed for some reason. Maybe the question isn't what gets you out of bed. Maybe it's what gets you showered for the day. Maybe it's, I don't know, could be something else. Why don't you tell us? You can do it in the comments, and I can read them, put them up on the screen. I can use my voice as your voice. Or you can just jump on and across the bottom here, let's see if I can get this right. Oh, there we go. It's going right there. Doot, 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 doot. The StreamYard with a bunch of letters afterwards. You can do it there. I'll see if I can put that in the comments. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, so what gets you out of bed in the morning? It is actually the show that I feel like a little bit of a responsibility to do this. I don't know why, but I do, so I do it. And I have fun doing it. Yesterday I got to talk to two people I haven't seen in, it's been, oh, wow, decades, I feel like. So that was kind of cool. And, I get to see people I probably wouldn't have seen, period, which is also very cool. Um, yeah. Yesterday I didn't do the social distancing yesterday. I apologize to everybody. I'll do social distancing. For every day you don't do social distancing, I feel like you have to do extra social distancing. So I'm gonna do extra social distancing now. I'm not gonna leave my room. I won't even do that. How about that? No, but I went over to a friend. Some friends invited me over for a dinner, and that was delightful. The funniest part about this dinner, though, it was pretty great. So it was one of those situations where the person who was hosting the dinner was like, "Oh, so and so's bringing food," and then so and so showed up, and she was like, "I brought a couple of things, but I didn't bring enough for dinner." So we were all in this situation where it was like, what are we gonna eat? So we actually raided the fridge. We were able to find a bunch of leftovers, and it turned out to be it was quarantine tapas. That's what it was. Little plates, little dishes. The most interesting thing was we had a kimchi that was actually made from little teeny tiny crabs. They were little baby crabs, and you ate the whole crab. Like that's how you ate the whole thing. But I felt bad. I was trying to marry the bigger ones with the little ones so that it felt like a family. So I tried to like eat a family so that they weren't lonely. You don't want to eat the parents because like the parents are big. They're gonna have the most flavor, obviously. But, like then you're stranding these like little orphan crabs to sit in the whatever the kimchi. What what is in kimchi? That's actually a thing I don't know. I eat it. I like it. I enjoy kimchi. I don't know what's in it. Let's see if I can even spell it right. I did. According to Google, I did spell it right. All right. What's it? Well, I know it's like cabbage and it's bacteria. That's what it is. Because that's what does all the the fancy stuff to make you healthy and give it flavor and all of that stuff. Yeah, Napa cabbage is like the number one thing, and radish, and a vat to make it spoil. Sauerkraut's also equally gross to make. It's delicious. I love sauerkraut. I know that's. Does anybody like what is that thing that you really like that you're like, I know I shouldn't like this thing, but I really like this thing. For me, it's sauerkraut. I really do enjoy sauerkraut. Um, I don't know if I've ever like gone to the store and been like, you know what I'm gonna have for dinner tonight is sauerkraut. I've done that with peanut butter. I've bought a jar of peanut butter just to eat the peanut butter. That is something I have done. But I don't think I've ever done that with sauerkraut. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've ever done that with. I think I could eat a whole thing of peanut butter, but I couldn't eat a whole thing of jelly. I think jelly would be extreme. That would be real sweet. Let's see, what else could you? I mean, no one's eating ketchup by itself. Mayo, you probably shouldn't eat by yourself. That's kind of gross. I don't know. Like, I feel like you should probably cook. Maybe the cooking's the right thing to do when you're gonna eat or preparing some food. If you're gonna go to the store and just buy like jars of goo to eat. Is that the future? I don't know. That sounds almost futuristic. Like, what kind of goo did you get today? What's it? Did you get your protein goo? That's very much like a 70s sci-fi situation. That is what we have. If you're eating jars of peanut butter straight out of the jar with just a spoon, please use a spoon or some sort of device where you can scoop. Maybe it's a chip. What would be a good chip for peanut butter? Is there a good peanut butter chip? Cookies. Cookies are the right chip for peanut butter. You know what I did buy? I did buy cookie batter, and I've been putting cookie batter on cookies. That's extreme cookie. That is an extreme cookie situation. It's not a good idea. It's a great idea, but it's awful. You know what happens when you make stuff like that? I never know if I should eat the cookie with milk because I feel like the milk's going to take away from whatever extra I've done to the cookie. Is like a frosting cookie, do you just drink the milk or do you ever dunk the frosting cookie in the milk? I feel like it taints it a little bit. Either the milk or the cookie. You know, you don't want to do that. Yeah. So, anyway, we were at this dinner party. It was great, but it was very, very much like well, who's doing what here? That was maybe not the best situation for a dinner party. Is how are we going to feed people? So I put in that is my mom. So. Hi, son. There's your happy, sunshiny face. You make me happy. Well, thanks, Mom. You make me happy, too. Thanks for the call this morning. My parents actually received my book that I didn't sell it to them. I gave it to them. I don't have a copy of the book here, but because I'm really good at selling stuff. I'm so good at selling stuff, I don't remember to have the book around so I can show it off. But my mom told me she was surprised at how not small it was. It's a big book. A little daunting. When you see it, you're like, oh, that's too big. You can read into that whatever you want. You want to cut that out and use that in your memes, you may. Well, we got a weekend coming up. What does a weekend look for you? What are you doing this weekend? What are you doing? Going out? Probably not. Are you, I know I just saw my friend Annette put up a like. I know she's probably going to go run. That's a good thing to do. I've been doing a ton of walking and getting a lot of reading done. I think I talked about this the other day. But I'm actually like during the day, I look forward to going out and doing that. that's kind of a fun thing. It's like, oh man, what time is it? It's time to go take a walk. And then I go make as many loops as I possibly can around from at the park that's across the street. It's a big park, so I think it's like I don't want to say because I actually don't know. I should measure this because my watch kind of measures how far I go. But I think it's a mile around or pretty close to a mile around. So if I do like 3 laps in the morning, 3 laps in the afternoon, like my Apple Watch is happy with me. Although I haven't been hitting my standing goal. I don't know if you have an Apple Watch, but standing goals are not the easiest thing in the world. Okay, so I guess what gets me up out of bed in the morning could be I need to show up my Apple Watch, and I can't do that if I'm laying in bed. Because my Apple Watch tells me things like, hey, you should stand up, and that's just so weird to me that that's a thing. Yeah, so anyway, plans for this weekend. If you can remember it's a weekend, I mean, maybe you got something going on. Maybe there's something online you could do. Does anybody have anything that they suggest? Because I don't know. I'm kind of looking for something to do. Last week I did the karaoke thing. That was fun. But I don't want to do that every week because I think that would get irritating to people. So we'll see. We'll see what's happening. Well, I don't really have, I don't know if I have any other things to talk about. I could continue to talk about jars of peanut butter, but I don't think anybody's interested in that. What's the thing that you found, in staying at home? The thing that you found that is difficult to get that you wish you could get more of? Like, you just wish you could get more of. Obviously, toilet paper is probably number one on everybody's list. I subscribe. Okay, I'm a little real talk. I subscribe to toilet paper on Amazon. So that means that I tell Amazon, hey, I'm going to take toilet paper every month. This amount of toilet paper you're going to send to my house. And it's not a lot. I'm not asking for a lot. I think I take 8 rolls. 8 rolls of toilet paper at any given time. They're the triple rolls, though, so they're big. It's like getting, what is that? It's like 24 rolls. It's pretty good. And it's smaller, so it's like shipping it is not ridiculous. So I feel like I'm helping the environment, too. Also, I don't go through it very fast. That's also helping the environment. I'm trying to help the environment. Don't you understand? But yeah, it's been 2 months now, and they can't send me toilet paper. And I'm like, well, I feel like I should be at the front of the line. I've made the commitment, Amazon. I've said, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be buying your toilet paper. We had like an agreement. It was like and shook on it, but I don't have any. I don't have toilet paper. I started crumpling up the news that I get, the mail. You know what you can do? Actually, maybe this is like, this is maybe a craft we could do at home. Maybe this is what you do this weekend. What do you do with your junk mail? You probably just take your junk mail and throw it away. All right, but think about this, all right? Get a bucket, put some water in there, put all your junk mail in the bucket of water. Mash it down. You got to get in there and like use some elbow grease, but you can mash it down into a pulp and then turn that pulp into toilet paper. That's your DIY tip of the day, is make your own toilet paper if Amazon can't supply you with any. So, anyway, so the thing I've been thinking about, like the thing I've been wishing I had more of was eggs, as it so happens. That's the thing. We've been going through eggs like crazy. So it's like I go and like double down on the egg purchases. That's always the thing I'm panicked to not have enough of, is the eggs, because we use them for everything. They're great for everything. Yeah, I mean, you can, cook them in like eggs. That you can do that. They're good in like if you're gonna make waffles, you gotta have eggs. You also have to have milk. An almond milk doesn't work well with like waffles. That's not a thing. You can't use the alterno milks. Okay, yeah, probably a good idea. Not gonna do the toilet paper manufacturing at home. Can't say I disagree with you. I actually, I believe that that's probably the right choice. I actually don't know how paper works. I live next to a paper mill, not right next to, but it's over there somewhere. I'm motioning over to the paper mill. They know what they're doing. I do not. I don't even know. Is that how paper's made? You take other paper? That's recycling, right? Take other paper, put it in a bucket, mash it, turn it into like a paper paste, if you will, and then you lay it out on a table and let it dry. And then you just kind of, scoop, you use one of those like spatulas and like pull the paper up off the kitchen counter or whatever you got. Maybe wipe it down before you do this, but you take and get it off the kitchen counter, and then you have to roll it. You have to manually roll that up, and then you don't forget the tube. You got to have a tube. So hopefully you've saved a tube. Wait, maybe you have to make a tube too. So how do you do that? Do you take cardboard, put it in a bucket, mash it down, and then make the tube? That seems hard. I bet you need one of those things. What's the things that spin? Oh, Fred Meyers has toilet paper. I got some yesterday. No eggs, though. Well, good thing. I don't use them for the same things. How weird would that? That'd be like the 3 shells, if you remember that from that movie. I just showed my age there. You remember that from that movie? Remember that movie with that nice young man that played the guy that was the future cop? Oh man, now I can't remember what the movie is. The 3 shells. Demolition Man. I'm not old yet. So what are you binge watching? I think that's the one question we can all ask and find out something. Oh, someone coming on? We'll see. Someone got tired of me talking and was like, we got to make him stop. Oh, hey, Jeff. How are you?
Hey, I saw you on here with all your friends, so I would hop on in and say hi.
Yeah. Oh, appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, you know what? Ohio is the #1 spot for this show, believe it or not. Yesterday I had someone from Ohio. I've had you on from Ohio. Yeah. Either that or Florida. Florida, Texas, Ohio.
Yeah, but when you get me, you get multiples.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah. Someone who needs practice on this type of environment is right here.
I was getting ready to just log in.
No,
just.
Oh Thanks, gosh, Steve. See you later. So wait, are you talking about paper crafting? Are we talking about crafting paper, toilet paper? I think this could be a good lesson, valuable lesson for us in the future. That or the phone got hit out of someone's hand and we're not going to find out. I'm going to take to Google real quick. Maybe we should do that real fast. Let's find out. Let's see if I can do this. All right. Let us Google how to make toilet paper. Oh, there's a video on how to. How do you make your own toilet paper? Okay. All right. Hold on here. Hold on here. Where am I at? All right. How to make your own toilet paper. You can take any paper except for glossy magazine paper. All right. We got 2 people. All right. So here we go. I found the actual recipe. So you take any paper except for glossy magazine paper. Now let's see how accurate I actually was. You take a pot, water. So far I'm on point. Aloe, baby oil, or any type of unscented lotion. Okay, so you need a softening agent. Witch hazel, That's optional, but I mean, if you can add it, witch hazel, I highly suggest it. Grass and leaves, a rolling pin, a mallet or hammer. More items. Oh my goodness. This seems involved. No wonder toilet paper is so expensive. Found around the house. Found outdoors. Oh yeah. A sheet or a towel, a ladle or spoon, and large cutting board. I was not far off in talking about how to manufacture your own toilet paper. I feel pretty good about that. Here, I'll put this. I don't want to pop up it, but I will put this in the comments in case you're curious at some point. All right, enough of that nonsense. Oh, I lost
Hey.
Jeff. Hey. So, all right. So you can make your own toilet paper out of your garbage, out of the mail that you don't read. No one knew.
Well, I mean, that seems no different than wet felting, than really like making your own clothes out of individual fibers. It's the same thing. Paper fibers all get mashed together. It's same with making paper. So yeah, way to use your trash.
I mean, that's true recycling. Now you could do that. You can take your junk mail and turn that into clothing too. Is that what you're telling me?
Well,
Like paper mache
no.
clothing?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it can be done. I mean, have you looked at some of the high fashion shows that go on in Paris where they have incorporated trash before?
Interesting.
I
You don't need a roll
I've seen,
for toilet paper. Just cut it in squares and stack it up beside the toilet. Works just fine. You know, actually, that's what I do. Shannon, I don't know if you do this, but I actually do when I get the roll of toilet paper, I take individual squares and stack them right next to the toilet paper.
no,
Right next to the
no.
toilet.
I usually
get a
as I'm
leg stack.
unrolling, I'm counting. I just
You
count
count?
my sheet.
Do you really count? I feel like I should change the name of this show because it always goes back to poop. It's coffee though. I mean, that's the natural progression.
Well, you know, you can always throw all of Freud's theory and everything like that, and the fact that I guess if we're all obsessed with toilet paper, we're all in that anal stage. So you gotta
it's true.
mute the.
Yeah,
what?
only one of you can have sound at the same time. We're gonna have like massive echoes. Oh, here, I took care of it. All right, can you hear it?
Yeah,
No, he's got a grumpy look on his face.
I think he's mad that you muted him.
I just don't want the echo. Oh, all right, fine. Okay.
So I guess Dad's logging off.
That's fair.
Now you can watch on Facebook with it muted.
Comment.
So
Yeah. Yes.
the reason why Dad sort of forced me onto this is because Saturday I am going to be getting my own 30-minute live session on Facebook for the Out of Darkness Suicide Prevention Walk that my university is hosting virtually. So, you know, learning how to talk without having an audience that you can see is a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. It seems so much easier than when you actually start to do it. Yeah, well, that's cool. So tell us about this walk. It's Suicide Prevention Walk?
Yeah, it's the Out of Darkness Suicide Prevention and Awareness Walk. The University of Rio Grande has been hosting it for, I think this is our 5th year now. No, 4th year. It's our 4th year now that we've been doing this. And this is the first time we've not been able to do it on campus. So we've come together with a whole plan from about 10 o'clock in the morning until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon with a whole bunch of guest speakers and people engaging. And then afterwards, they're opening up the Facebook page for anyone to share videos, any positive words or whatnot. But the whole point is to bring awareness about suicide and suicide prevention, as well as, you know, bringing uplifting messages and hope for right now where, you know, we're all experiencing a lot of mental health um, strain right now.
Yeah, it worries me a little bit, because people are, I have a friend who's a therapist, and he's doing the online, uh,
The telehealth.
doing it telehealth, which is cool that we can do that, despite HIPAA and all that stuff. Um, but he said he's had a little bit of a drop off in his business, and it's like, oh, like that's not just there. That's going to be everywhere. He's going to have a little bit of drop off. Yeah, so I think that's really important, is to have something. And I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts on suicide are, but people think I think people still think that people commit suicide because they're sad. Can you speak to that at all? Are you an expert on this?
No, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert, no. But,
Okay.
causes for suicide can be a number of different things going on. It's not necessarily just depression. It's, there is mental pain, there's mental anguish. There's some individuals that think that it is the best option because they feel that they're a burden, because they are dealing with other struggles, or sometimes they're just not communicating what's going on. It could be post-traumatic stress. It could be dealing with addiction and a number of things. In some cases, it can be based off of poverty and the stress that, you can't meet those bills. So, but I'm not speaking from any sort of level, but, suicide is not geared toward one sort of category. It can be it's not discriminatory. It is not selective. It can happen to anyone, anywhere, no matter what sort of socioeconomic status you're in. But it's something that a lot of people tend to not talk about. And one thing that I know that I've
it
learned,
makes a ton of people uncomfortable. Yeah.
It is, but it is uncomfortable. There's nothing comfortable about it, and we need to sort of acknowledge that it is uncomfortable to have those conversations. And I've had QPR training, which is question, persuade, and refer training, which is sort of letting people know that, yeah, you sometimes have to ask that difficult question, but that does not mean that by asking that difficult question, somebody's going to go and complete suicide or, engage in suicide. Sometimes they just need that question asked to stop them. I mean, I'm sure you've heard of the gentleman in his story from San Francisco Bridge, where he jumped off and he survived, and he wouldn't have gone through if somebody just asked him how he was doing.
Yeah, so I in the comments I actually put up, I had a really cool conversation with somebody. The episode unfortunately came out at the exact wrong time, and I'll explain that in just a second.
No.
But so the guy's name is Frank King, and he was on my show, and he's a comedian, and his whole shtick is he's always on the verge of killing himself. Like he's turned his that into comedy, and also he goes and does like corporate talks and those types of things.
Yeah.
So he talks exactly what you're talking about. And he talks about all of that stuff, and it's really, really interesting. We talked about how it's not just about being sad. Like it's not, people are sad, and people who are in that state of mind can also be happy. And people in that state of mind can also be, you have no idea. And there are certain things you have to look at. And one of the things he talks about is you have to ask. You have to ask and just have it be an uncomfortable moment. And it's pretty amazing. Now, the reason that timing on this episode, I really wanted to promote the hell out of this episode because I wanted everybody to listen to it. In fact, this is one of the few episodes that I've actually had people contact me because they listened to it and they told me it actually made a change for them. Like it was so powerful. The reason I couldn't is because there was right at the beginning of the COVID-19 thing, there were some cruise ships that were out in the middle of the ocean, and they couldn't find a port, and they finally found a port, And some of the people that they got tested, the CDC said you're free to go. They flew home and then were shamed and actually abused on social media. And unfortunately, Frank was one of them. And so he had to actually cancel all his social media accounts. He had to cancel a ton of stuff because people are ignorant and they don't understand things. So unfortunately, I released the episode. I go on Reddit and I see all of this happening. I was like, oh man, anything I do to promote this is just gonna make it worse for him. So, but if you find this subject interesting, that is it's in the comments. It's a pretty good episode.
Okay.
It kind of talks about that stuff. But
well, thanks.
you don't listen to my show for me. Listen to my show for my guests. But you have this walk. How are you doing it virtually? How's that working?
So we have a schedule of times. Like I said, we have a Facebook site that is available. I'll have to see if I can find it.
Yeah, I was trying to find it. So, is it the hashtag Stop Suicide?
No, it is not.
Out of Darkness Walk? No.
Yeah, it was the Out of Darkness Walk, and it's through University of Rio Grande. But of course, I'm trying to navigate this, and I just don't know what I'm looking for.
Okay.
I'm jumping between windows. Let me see if I can find this link and share it.
Yeah, see if you can find it, because I'm trying to find it too, and
no, it's
I don't know.
There it is.
I'm finding a bunch of them. So
it's called Virtual. It starts with Virtual. I know that much. Oh. Okay, I've got the link for it.
Oh yeah,
Virtual
okay. Post that in
University of Rio Grande.
Yeah, if you post that in the comments, I'll make sure it goes everywhere.
In the comments. Now I just had to jump back to where I was at with you, because I didn't open up multiple windows.
Oh yeah, well, I've got like Command Central here. There are so many screens in front of me. If I'm wearing my watch and have my,
that I'm learning right now.
Yeah.
For Saturday, to have everything sort of lined up and preset for this experience on Saturday. I really am excited about this.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
I think this stuff's great.
All right, here it is.
All right, did you post it?
Yes, I posted the event.
Okay. URLs are so great. Here, I'm going to leave that up and see if I can.
Oh, okay. Wasn't sure if it was gonna.
Yeah, that's just how they go.
Usually I have no problem with it carrying over from one window to the other. So.
Okay. Is that it? That's it. Okay, here we go. Now we can do it.
Okay.
All right, so Hope walks here. Here, I'm going to take this off real quick.
Yep.
And virtual University of Rio Grande Out of Darkness Campus Walk. It starts Saturday, April 18th. When you walk virtually and in the Out of Darkness walks, you join the effort with hundreds of thousands of people to raise awareness and funds that allow AFSP to invest in new research, create educational programs, advocate for public policy, and support survivors of suicide loss. That's pretty great. So it starts at 8 a.m., but that's Ohio time. Ugh.
Yeah, that's
West
Ohio
Coast,
time.
man. That's tough. That's a 5 a.m. check-in, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay,
on the West Coast. Maybe find a local chapter.
Well, I'm sure that there are a lot of chapters locally, but like this is geared. This is our walk is just happening that always happens in April. So, but there are walks nationwide that happen, but specifically ours. So all the live streaming stuff and everything will be happening around 10 a.m. during the opening ceremonies and running until about 2 in the afternoon. So we have a nice schedule that hasn't been displayed yet, but I know that Courtney Ruggles, who is our coordinator, will be sharing that.
Okay, cool. And then when it's a virtual walk, does this mean like you jump on a, maybe you, wherever you're at, you just kind of walk around, or is it a 5K? What is it? Is it?
Well, I honestly, I don't know how this,
That's
how
fair.
a
That's an
walk,
okay answer.
you know, how it works. But I think I know that we have a 1 mile and then we have the 5K actually on campus. But you know, this year I'm not sure how it works
I mean, you could
virtually.
jump
It's
on a
kind of
treadmill and
exciting.
take care of it. Yeah.
That would probably work, I'm sure. Or you can, like, you know, walk your dog round and round, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right. How do I do this? Make a donation to support. Okay. We'll do that. We will do that right here on air, and you can get my,
Fantastic.
what's that?
I said fantastic.
Yeah. No, I don't have that. We'll donate with Apple Pay. I think I can do that.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to just,
Do you know how many
do your
books I have to
donation.
sell in order to get this donation done? But
Hey,
I
I will
did
just
it.
let you know, I did purchase an ebook copy recently, actually after your last video. So
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
had to
good.
go and
If I can
track
shame
their
people into
book.
buying the book, that's great. Yeah. Well, let me know what you think. So I talked to Grandma and Grandpa Rice this morning, and Dad was so kind to tell me I have an error on page 23. So it's great.
Yeah,
One of many, I'm sure. That's the problem with self-editing. No one should self-edit. Actually, that part was I
No.
paid somebody to edit that part. That's really interesting that there was an error.
Ooh.
But yeah. Good. Well, you guys got my money, so go save some lives.
Thank you. Thank you.
What is how many lives does $25 save? Out of curiosity,
Well,
like how much?
Okay, so it's not necessarily that it. I'm like, so I do, but what I do know is that a lot of these funds do go into opening up programs such as like the QPR training that I took, and I'm actually now a trainer, so I can provide this training on how to do the question, persuade, and refer. So that is one of many different programs that they offer. Education is, a big thing, and especially down in our area, our suicide rates are some of the highest in our state. Within at least 3 of them.
Right. You guys have, is it still the big opioid addiction issue?
Yeah, we do have that is tied in with it. Poverty is another. So out of 100,000 people, the percentage rates, it was the highest were, like I said, in at least 3 of our counties, Meg's being 21.8% out of 100,000 were, or 21.8 out of 100,000 were completed suicides. And those numbers, like I said, were higher than Columbus and higher than some of the major cities. We have around anywhere from above 15%.
Yeah, I mean, hope is a hard thing to lose. And I think that that's what happens. So it's important to like remind people that there is other options.
There is.
Yeah, and that's the best thing you can do.
Yeah. So
and don't tell them to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. For God's sake, do not say that to anybody who is down. Do not say, pull yourself up from your bootstraps. You can do this. No. Stop doing that.
No. So I recently had a friend of mine on Facebook. I won't, go into too many details, but she had posted some stuff that was rather concerning on Facebook, and it's easy to just say, call the crisis line, or go to text, but nobody was asking her the questions because she kept repeating, some of these things, these comments on Facebook, and no one was like actually taking the time to connect with her. And so I did. I hadn't been on her Facebook, and she just happened to show up that day. And I ended up responding to her in a private message, and I asked her, are you going to kill yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of, shocked her that I actually asked that question. And she says, no, but I'm really confused right now. And so from there, we went from talking about, there are resources out there. I was asking her if she had been seeing her counselor, and she said, well, she hadn't in a while. And especially with COVID-19, some people don't know that they can still reach out to someone to help. And, contacting the crisis lines locally, they can make referrals and get you in connected with somebody to help. But, you don't have to be in a moment of crisis even to contact any of these crisis lines. You could just be feeling upset. You can be feeling overwhelmed, and it's okay to call these crisis lines and speak to somebody, or even use the text line if you want. You could just be that stressed out mom who can't take any more of the screaming and yelling in the background, and just talk to somebody, and they'll help ground you. They'll help bring you
Absolutely.
into a better space.
That's good. I think that's really good. All right, that feels like $25 really well spent then.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. So if you do want to, the link is in the notes here, and I think I'll have to copy it and paste it into YouTube. But yeah, I mean, if you don't want to support that one, you should, because my niece is great. But if you want to support any of them, you can look for any suicide prevention walk. And it looked like in Ohio there was a number of them. If you want to support your local chapter, or if you just want to do that in general, you don't necessarily have to wait for a walk. You can probably find, you probably just Google or DuckDuckGo or whatever you're doing. Yeah, suicide prevention, and it'll give you the phone number. And don't call the phone number, but look for the website and donate. I think that stuff's important because unfortunately, suicide doesn't just affect one person; it affects everybody outside of that. So, anyway,
yeah,
good stuff. Well, thank you so much for doing that. Thanks so much for joining me for coffee.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I was lacking my
right.
coffee.
Yeah, well, as if it's across the room, you're gonna have to microwave it. There's nothing better than microwave coffee, right?
No.
No, it's not great. All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a good day.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
And you at home have a good day too. And hopefully you got something out of today. I know it wasn't uplifting, but it is. I think it is uplifting. I think we do need to have these difficult conversations, because when we do have these difficult conversations, they become less difficult going forward. Next time you talk to somebody and you're like, man, that person doesn't seem like they're doing so good, at the very least, just ask them, hey, you thinking about killing yourself? I know it's gonna feel odd. It's gonna feel weird. But let me ask you a question. If you've asked that question and that person says yes, and then all of a sudden you can help them, I would take that over. You might lose some friends doing this, but I would take that one person over any of the other friends that would stop talking to me, if that makes any sense. But I don't feel like people are going to stop talking to you. I think what'll happen is you'll ask that question and it will get them to realize a couple of different things. Either A, maybe they have been thinking about it, or B, what am I exuding this behavior, and why am I doing that? And maybe that's something to explore as well. Anyway, I feel it's uplifting. I feel like that's good news. So anyway, I hope to talk to you Monday. If not, I hope to talk to you some other day. If you just want to connect with me off of one of these, that's fine too. You have my DM. Oh yeah, they will realize somebody cares. That is the biggest thing. For me, that because when you talk to somebody that's in that situation, they're lacking hope. They're not lacking self-motivation. They're not lacking a get to it attitude. That is not what they're lacking. What they're lacking is hope. And when you don't have hope, you cannot wake up. That's the thing. Man, it all comes first full circle this episode. I started this off talking about what gets you up in the morning. And that's the thing, is when you do not have that motivation to get up in the morning, what's the point of getting up in the morning? Suicide prevention. Look it up. If you want to go to that, if you want to go donate, please do. It looks like they're a little bit shy of their, and I feel like we're going to see that a lot of that. Like the walkathons, we're going to see a lot of these types of things. They're not going to be able to make the numbers that they need to. And I know it hurts. My friend Amanda Richards gave me some really great advice. Can I afford, no joke, $25? I got to sell like 10 books to make $25. But, and it hurts to give that money, but it hurts in the right way. And it will come back. Money always circles back. It always comes back to you. So time doesn't. So if you lose time with a loved one, you're going to regret that time. Money comes back. All right. I hope you had an okay day today. I hope you have a great day today. I hope you had an okay time with me at least. Bye.